the upgraded streets of City McCity face. We got row housing mixed in with our medium density, and it's looking cool. It's looking really nice. It's adding just a little bit of variation in these areas. Everything is creating its own character, its own story, and changing around our very first industrial area to make a little bit more sense. The game was screaming at us, telling us that it did not want industrial over here, and we finally listened, and it's looking much better down here. These are all offices and commercial in here, and it just looks a lot better. And we're upgrading our power system as well in these areas because it gets cold in the winter and people use a lot of electricity. But guys, let's get into the meat and the potatoes. Okay, so today obviously we're going to be working in City McCity face, and it is going to be a little bit fun and maybe a little bit messy. Just get prepared. Today we're going to be upgrading this little area down here, and we're going to be changing this area up here quite a bit. Just the north, so actually technically it'd be the west side of City McCity face, but north to us right now. We're going to be changing this up, and the main reason is that it's kind of nice and flat down here, right? Very flat, very, you know, the whole map is pretty flat. And I've been watching a bunch of different creators recently, and I kind of want to shake it up. I'm going to press play so that we can get out of winter as fast as possible because I hate it. But I'm watching some other creators play, namely $2.20, and I just love the way that he changes the landscape around just to make really interesting looking cities. So that's what we're going to be trying today. We're not going to be creating the cities, but we're going to be kind of laying the groundwork for that to happen in the north of City McCity face. And honestly, truthfully, I wish that we had done it a little bit down here, just because it is super flat down by the water. But I think that kind of changing the terrain in the north here is gonna make for a very interesting city. And I have a couple ideas for how we're going to deal with, like, you know, our highway infrastructure and how that's going to work in the future. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're gonna come over to our university district, because I got a really good comment mentioning how the low income area over here, you would have to walk, if you walk to school, you would have to walk all the way down here, come around just to this bus stop right here, right? And that's just too ridiculous, especially when we can make a little path right here and kind of fix that up. So that is the very first thing that we're going to do. And we are going to create a crossing as well. Perfect. Just like that. Super easy. Nothing crazy. I will add just a little tiny bit of landscaping around here. And look, people are already using this path, so thank you for the suggestion, my friend. It's actually funny how fast people started taking this path. Yeah, just a little bit of landscaping to make it look like this path was here all along, and we can pretend like it was. And it looks a little bit more, you know, on purpose, right? That's at least the thought process. Perfect. So we look there, and yeah, it looks like we kind of cut into the forest a little bit with this path, and the university designed it that way. Let's get back over to City McCity face, because we don't want to spend too much time over here. Okay, so we're coming over here. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to look at these areas. So unfortunately, you can't place districts inside of districts, and I would like this whole area to be its own district. But just knowing in our heads, we had kind of 4 areas of this city, and that's how we kind of built it out, right? So this was our first little area down here, right? In between this road that kind of comes all the way around. And then this was our second area right here, right? Both of these were kind of the first things that we did. And then we built this big guy over here, and then we built this guy over here. So seeing that, we can kind of choose, what I would like to do at least, is kind of choose these first 2 areas, as these are going to be the first areas that we kind of like densify a little bit more. So in the last episode, we talked about anytime we see a high rent sign, we are going to be adding in a higher density in that area specifically, right? Now over here, we only have 1 townhome or townhouse that is saying high rent. So I don't think we really need to, you know, take out 2 or 3 of these to build a medium density house. That being said, you know, if we go through here and we take out all of these homes and we like add a little bit more density to them, and we're still seeing, you know, our townhomes screaming at us that the rent is too high, then we can kind of come back and look at it a little bit differently, and maybe we will take out some and add some medium density. The first thing that we're going to do before we do that is, I think instead of doing doing this whole area and densifying this whole area, we're going to choose just down here in this like southern part, the southwest part. I know that's not actually the coordinates of it, but we're going to choose just this area and just densify this area of this. So before we do that, we are going to need to upgrade these roads, and upgrading these roads, we will end up taking out some of these houses, and we'll try to take out as few as possible. We'll also have to upgrade this main street, which means I'm looking up here, and I actually want to fix this because this is not as perfect as I was hoping it would be. So we're going to do a few things here. We're going to come into our roads. I'm all over the place today. I'm all over the place every day, I suppose. We're going to come over here, and then we're actually going to switch the direction of this like this. Then we're going to come into our 2-lane highway, turn off snapping. We're going to grab here all the way over here, and we're just going to make this look a little bit nicer. Perfect. So now you have your turn lane or your through lane, and then there's a through lane here, and then all the cars that want to turn onto this lane. This could even be a 4-lane too. We'll leave it like this for now, because we may actually have to change it in the end of the episode anyway, because we will have to upgrade this road into a 4-lane, right? Now that we're going to kind of densify this, and we're going to be changing all of these roads, it would make sense to upgrade Washington Street to be more of, you know, a better collector kind of, right? And then this will probably be a collector along here as well, but we'll leave it for now. We'll kind of see where the traffic lives, and we'll upgrade roads as needed. So before we start destroying roads, re-densifying this area, we're going to come in here, make sure that we have European on, and then we're going to choose these areas in here and maybe add a few more because we do have a few high rent signs. We're going to choose these areas, and we're going to rezone them with row homes. And we're just doing 5s right now. Nothing too crazy. And some of these are going away already. So we have these in for now. Perfect. So now what we can do is we can come in here and we can start upgrading some of these roads. And we are going to take out a lot of buildings, obviously, but that is okay. We have a park in the way. So we'll do this to here. We're going to grab this park, turn off snapping, move it right here for now. Upgrade this guy. Perfect. And then we'll move this park right back where it belongs. Amazing. And then we'll come in here and we will just continue the upgrade train. Perfect, just like that. Awesome. And then any of these houses that we see that are condemned, those ones, yeah, these are fine. These are going to be our row housing, I believe. Yeah, any of these, we're going to come in here with our row housing. And we're going to rezone them. This is good over here. Maybe we'll change up over here. We'll look at some of these areas. Rezone them. Perfect. Come over here. We'll look. Perfect. Perfect. And then we'll click play and we'll see what happens. So while this is building out, hopefully this will help some of our high rent signs. If it doesn't, we're just going to continue to densify down here slowly but surely until eventually density is all over. So before we start coming up into the north part of City McCity Face, we are going to upgrade Mill Street right here, which apparently wraps all the way around and then touches itself. I love that so much. So we do need to move this crematorium ever so slightly. So we're going to come in here and unfortunately we will have to take out a building or two. So we'll come and we'll move it right there. Perfect. And then we probably will also have to move this outdoor gym. I'm trying to see where is the front of this thing. We'll move it there. Perfect. Awesome. So we can come in here, come into our medium roads, and we will upgrade this on this side. Oh, we'll actually have to move one more building, our medical clinic. True. So we'll move this over too. Perfect. So now we should be able to come in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And there we go. So I'm gonna let this fill out a bit. In some of these areas, we are gonna come in here. We're gonna make sure that these are the same size. Perfect. Perfect, that should be good. Awesome. So while this is building out, we're gonna come up into the north part of City McCity Face, and now we're gonna play around with terraforming a bit. So I'm gonna grab our shift terrain tool, our brush strength down at 30, which I think is pretty good, and our brush size at 350, and we're just gonna kind of shift the terrain a bit. So if you come down here, yes, it's a little hilly, but it's really not that crazy. It's very easy to build. I kind of want to have a little bit more variation, right? I think it would be really cool to have kind kind of like a high little hill here. Unfortunately, we can't extend the hill past these borders yet. One day we'll get a mod and we'll be able to do that, and will look much better than it does right now. But it would be kind of cool if we had a little bit of like a high cliff, right? Like if this was just like the coastline was just a little bit lower, and then up here we had like a highland almost. I think that would be really cool. So that's what we're going to build. Again, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to come too close to the border. I think we'll make do with what we got. So the reason why I have the low brush strength is just because we're just gonna come around. We're just gonna easy does it, raise the land a bit. A lot of these areas, it's kind of hard to see what we're raising because the trees, because the snow. But I like the idea of having a little bit of a highland over here, right? A little bit of a hill, maybe like a mountain almost. And then when we have people that are living up here, I just think it's gonna look a lot nicer, right? And in the summer, it'll be much different because we'll be able to see how high things actually are. Like right now, so this will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 meters up. I think I would like to do even higher. This is 60 right here. So I'd like to grab this height, turn our brush strength down, and I kind of want to level out what 60 would be. I like the idea of kind of having like peaks, you know? If we come down here and we look up, now we have a bit of a hill, right? And I just think that looks, it just adds a little bit more character over here, you know? And you know, it's not mountainous, but it does look kind of cool. And I have some cool ideas that I think are going to be cool. I have some ideas for how this area might look in the future. We kind of need to wait till summer, I think. And if we get to the point where we're like, you know what, let's just build in it, we might just like let the game sim until it's summer so we have a better idea of what's going on. But I like that. I like that. It's a little bit more hilly. It's a little bit more realistic. This map is just so flat. Imagine living up here, you get to see the skyline, eventually what will be the skyline, and the beautiful radio mast right here. I think that's kind of nice, you know? I think that's kind of nice. I have a cool idea for a highway around here as well, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves in this episode. All right, so let's look. How's everything turning out? I like the mixture of row homes beside our single family houses. I think that that looks like a pretty cool aesthetic. Makes it have just a little bit more character, I think, you know, and eventually all of these homes will be gone, but I think these row homes look really nice. There are some more areas that are screaming at us, telling us about high rent, so we're going to come in here and we're going to add some row homes. And the rest of our city is still screaming about high rent, which means that we haven't added enough density. So what I think that means is we're gonna densify this entire area up here with the same level that we did down here. So coming in with our medium density and just taking out some of these houses. And I'm going to go the full 6 units just because we're gonna be upgrading the road and we don't know how big that's going to be, like how much we don't know where we're going to be upgrading it. So okay, so we did that. Perfect. I'm gonna come in here and add one more line, and then we're going to come in with our roads and we're going to upgrade these along. I want to make sure that this is even on this side. Perfect, it is. Amazing, cool. Perfect. Along this road, this is going to give us a little bit of problems just because our crematorium right here. So let's move it, turn off snapping. I'm going to bring it. Oh, we have our park in the way. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to put it here for now. And I know we're taking everything out, but we're going to be taking everything out anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. We're going to move our park here. We're going to grab this guy, turn back on snapping, bring it right here, and then we can move our gym even like right beside it. Perfect. And now we're not worried about any of these streets over here, but we can come back and we continue upgrading along. This area is going to give us a little bit of problems. So let's come in, we'll take off snapping, and let's see if we can make this look semi-nice. That doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Now this area, this is going to give us more problems. So what we might have to do is move this over as much as we can. No, this is what we're gonna have to do. Unfortunately, we're gonna upgrade this street till about here. We're gonna upgrade everything else that we can, just right off the bat. Perfect. And then this is our last street, this last alleyway. We could keep this alleyway, but what we're going to do instead is delete it. And we're going to bring a road back here. Perfect. Now this can connect right there and can come in right here. Perfect. So it's not the nicest little interchange or the intersection over here. That's okay. Because you know what? That happens. That happens in real life. And adds a little bit of character to what we got going on. And actually, we're going to do row homes across here. So we'll do a 2x2. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now we got something going on over here. We had a huge traffic accident and a car burned down. Doesn't look like it's burned down. A car went into the backyard of somebody. Oh my God, dude. Imagine that. That's crazy. Is everyone okay? Whoa. This guy flew. That's crazy. Holy. Okay, that's fine. Not a huge deal. We are seeing some more high rent signs. So we're going to come in here with our row homes and we're going to fix this problem. So what we may need to do, we're still seeing this guy scream, which is kind of funny. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to come in here and these should be one higher. So we're going to let these build out and hopefully that kind of fixes the problem. Perfect, perfect. So the high rent signs are still persisting, but what I think we're going to do, because I don't want to just upgrade all of these streets right off the bat, but these guys need to move in before some of these high rent signs will leave, right? Like when we have more density over here, then these areas will, like if it's rent, then they can kind of move out is kind of what I'm hoping happens. So we're gonna let this run for just a little tiny bit and see if some of these bubbles kind of start to disappear. All right, so it is looking like our high rent signs are starting to go down. However, we do still have quite a bit in this area as well. I'm thinking, because these are our first two areas that we built of City McCity Face, I think it would be reasonable to upgrade both of these with our new roads. So we're gonna come in here. Whoa, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna fix a few of these spots, right? So medium density right here. We'll do a 4x4. Honestly, we'll add some over here as well. Let's see how these look. But we will come over here and any area that does have this high rent sign, we will fix them. Perfect. And then we'll come in here with our roads and we will upgrade these along. So we'll bring this up to about here for now. We'll come on the other side all the way to here. And we are seeing some red areas. So we will, any section that we don't upgrade will come back to later to just kind of fix it up, right? So like right here, these paths are in the way, these buildings are in the way. These will be easily movable. This section right here, okay, so we had a little bit of a small node issue, which hopefully that doesn't bite us later, but I think it's fine for now. And then we'll come in here with some of these other, so we need to move this building. We do know that. We can upgrade these streets as well. Okay, so now it's just these few areas right here. These streets right here, these are kind of like back roads of what will soon be like, you know, of this park area. I don't think we're gonna upgrade these streets. There's no houses on them. Doesn't really make any sense. We're gonna take out this path because we don't need that. And then we'll add path down here and we'll kind of clean this area up a bit. Then we can take these out. Perfect. Yes, we won't upgrade this street. However, we do need to upgrade this right here. So I'm going to grab this, create a node at each section. Actually, not this one. Perfect. And then we're just going to take out this other side right like here. And then now we can come in, upgrade these. Perfect. And we can connect these up just like so. Perfect, just like that, and we can do the same thing up here as well. The one thing that we are going to have to do is move some of these buildings. So the firehouse, for example, we're just gonna bring it back to here. We're gonna set this over just a little bit to about here, and then we do have this police station. So we are going to have to move this to about here. Perfect, awesome, awesome. Come in with our paths. Amazing, amazing. And then upgrade this street all along to here. Perfect. Perfection. And then we can actually move this police station a little bit closer to the road. Just like that. Awesome. And then upgrade this guy. So now we have these 2 new areas down here that are a little bit more dense. The streets look a little bit nicer, and we can come in to these areas and kind of clean them up a bit, right? I just want to make sure that it looks like our zoning looks better over here, right? We have these random blocks that are zoned. That doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, so we come in here, just fix that up a little bit. And I think this area looks much nicer. I mean, obviously, right? All right, so yeah, again, like this episode is really just coming in and having a little bit of fun, densifying these areas, fixing them up. I want to fix zoning as well, right? Like I want it to make a little bit more sense. We don't want to have just random stuff going on over here, right? Cool. So what I like about adding these townhomes, and then eventually we're gonna have to add, you know, some medium density over here as well, is it just adds a little bit of variation. Yeah, you do have these townhomes, and you know, maybe in the town that you live in, you don't have some single family homes across from a row of townhomes. But I don't know, man. I think it looks kind of cool. You know, it's different than anything that I've built. I feel like I usually try to stay within these lines always, and like, you know, can't deviate too much. But this is just a little bit different, and I'm really digging the vibe out here. And one thing is we have really taken out a lot of the high rent signs. We do still have some high rent signs, but for the most part, I think that's okay. This guy's still giving us troubles, eh? So maybe what we do is we just rezone these to be smaller and we don't touch it anymore. I don't know why that's still giving us problems. We obviously do have these 2 high rent signs, but for the most part, a lot of these high rent signs disappeared. And I think that, I mean, obviously that's a good thing, but I just, yeah, I'm liking the way that this is looking. I'm not gonna rush everything else just quite yet. If we do see more of these rent signs popping up, then we will come into where we already kind of have row homes, and we will add some more, right? Like maybe we'll come over here, look here. These areas we're not going to touch just quite yet until these houses, like, you know, kind of ask for it. But I do think that this just adds a little bit of interesting variation over here. You know, eventually these will, you know, maybe not skyscrapers down here, but eventually it'll be more medium density over here. And I just like how it looks a little, I don't know, I'm just liking the vibe over here. I'm liking the vibe. It's a little hilly, and I'm really excited when we start to do a little bit more, you know, low density up here. I think that that's going to look interesting as well. All right, so now that we kind of have this chugging along, having this going a little bit, I do want to shift our attention over to our main city. We're seeing some more bottleneck issues for our electricity. So if we look, a bunch of places over here are not getting the electricity they need. So we obviously need to fix that. If we come into our electricity, we can see our consumption is at 247. So one, we are consuming way more electricity than we are creating. And we've already kind of not maxed this guy out, but you know, we have already upgraded this. So we do need some more electricity. So we're seeing bottlenecks in a few spots. Right here, we're seeing it on our actual transformer. And then mostly everywhere around the city, we're seeing it on our 2-lane roads. So for whatever reason, we're pushing too much electricity into our roads. So I think we need to make a change that is going to help out in these areas. What we're going to do is we're actually going to have a transformer kind of come over here. We're going to end up buying, we're going to buy these tiles right here, these 10 tiles. We have 64 that we can buy, so I'm not too worried about maximizing and making sure that we're buying the right ones. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run a power line along the highway here and kind of meet up with our industrial area over here. So we'll start it right here, and we're just going to send it around and follow this highway a bit. Perfect. So we'll come up to here, and now we have our power line right here. And I think what we're going to end up doing is adding a little transformer. We're going to add a transformer right over here. And I'm actually wondering, the more that I think about this, I'm thinking that because it's so cold here, that is why we're seeing an increase in power, because we haven't changed anything from the last game. I think that's what we're seeing, is that these places aren't able to heat themselves. So we're going to do 2 things down here that I didn't think that we were going to do yet, but obviously obviously the game is screaming at us, so we need to. If we come into this area and we come into industrial zone, this whole area is red, which means it's really bad for industry. And if we go into our our land value right here, that is because it is super expensive down here, which means that it would just cost a lot for industry. It's expensive kind of everywhere around here. This building is super low value, which is really weird. But I think it's because of that industry bug where buildings are like the industry buildings increase the land value a little bit too high and too fast, which is a little frustrating, but it is what it is. This wasn't going to be an industry area forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to de-zone parts of this. So we're going to come in here and de-zone this area up into Grove Street. Perfect, just like that, awesome. And then we're going to come into our electricity, and because we're gonna have ground pollution here for probably quite a bit, right? Mostly over here, but there is some ground pollution over here. This is not suitable for residents to live in just quite yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert this area into like a little bit of like a commercial office kind of area, and place an emergency battery station so that we can get our electricity during the winter. So if we look, this thing is pretty large, to be honest with you, and I don't want to place it right across the street from our cargo harbor. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come in, I'm going to take out this path right here. Perfect. We're going to end up taking out some of these roads. I'm going to take these guys out and we're going to redevelop this area down here. So how we're going to do that is we're going to have an alleyway that runs across this collector right like here, and this is where we're going to place our battery right like here. Actually, we're gonna switch it to the other side for a couple reasons. So place it right here, and then we'll just link this up. We'll link this up right over here. And the reason why I wanted to place it here was because we're going to come in to our power lines, and we're going to bring this around and meet up right over here. Perfect. So now we should be able to bring emergency power and kind of store it in our emergency battery power station, and then that should help with power everywhere else. And we're already seeing the power issues did disappear, which is amazing. So now we can come in here, and I think we're going to take out all of this just because this industry is really bad. It's not good for industry. We're going to take out all the industry around here. We'll come in here and we're gonna fix some of these spots. Perfect. We'll come in here with our office and we're gonna place office in these areas. So we're just gonna do low density office because we don't need anything crazy. And the idea would be that, you know, these areas would probably redevelop as offices. So we will have office along the coastline, which may not seem like the most realistic thing in the entire world. But the idea would be, again, that because the industry was along the coastline, these buildings would just be kind of upgraded to offices. Obviously, we'll have different buildings. You know, that's kind of the idea, at least. Okay, so our battery station is not able to charge. What we're going to do is put a transformer over here as well. And we're going to place it off of this street. Amazing. And then we'll take this and we will link it up. So it is a little bit messy over here, but I think that that's going to be okay. And that should help the situation a little bit. And then this battery station will be able to charge itself up. So I'm going to keep zoning out office over here. And we'll probably, actually, now that I think about it, we'll probably put commercial along this street. Yeah, so these areas are not able to be zoned with medium density kind of anything through here. This area is actually not that bad. So if we wanted to, we could add a little bit. I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do at this point. So I don't think we will. I think we're gonna wait for the pollution in this area to kind of chill out just a little bit. And then we will, because I would love to have this as, you know, a residential area. I think that that would make a lot more sense. Again, though, we do need to kind of wait for it to kind of lose the pollution around here, though. All right, so coming back over to City McCity Face, this area has kind of filled out a little bit more. We're gonna come into these areas that are screaming at us about high rent, and we are going to rezone them. There's quite a few buildings that are screaming about high rent. All right, so perfect. We're gonna let this run for a bit. Hopefully that clears up just a little bit. I do see these other areas of the community that are saying high rent as well. So I think what we'll end up doing is in the next one, we'll upgrade the rest of this area, and that way with the streets, and that way we can continue to kind of service the residential demand in these areas. But guys, that is going to be everything. If you made it this far and you liked the video, like the video. If you love the video and you're not subscribed, what are you doing, man? Subscribe down below. Let me know in the comment section what you think about these areas. I am digging it. I'm digging it. You know, I think it's really cool to have to see the mixture of row homes and low density. I think it just adds a little bit of variation to these areas. It's really cool. I'm very excited to see how it looks when we have some medium density in here as well. Now I feel like things are starting to kind of cook in this area. We see a lot of people complaining about high rent, which means that we do have to start, you know, like we're really starting to push people out of these medium homes or these residential homes. And I think that's just going to look for a really cool aesthetic. Again, I'm very excited to see how it looks when it's all said and done. I think it's going to look really cool. Yeah, we're seeing like it's really starting to kick off now. And I'm wondering actually, because the more medium density houses that we bring in here, the more low density residential that the city will need now that we're actually starting to move things around. But anyway, guys, yes, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.